Late March, I lost my partner, Vincent. It was quite a shock, really, and I was more or less paralyzed for weeks on end. I'm a tailoress, so I took to altering a few things. You start cutting up shirts and belongings of your loved ones, so I did that, and I started to sew a skirt, a top, quite randomly. Being surrounded by the cut-up shirts, I suddenly picked up some of it and covered a button and placed that onto one of my garments, and it started to marry up in a very most beautiful way. I guess what happens when you're grieving, the attention from the loss of your partner shifts to your own person, and you start thinking, what am I going to do with myself? I'm lost here, I'm on my own. But then I calmed down and I started to stitch, and more a collection came together, which I've now have entitled the Grief Collection. I have been with Vincent a very short time of just 4 years, and so our first love, it will never go away. I'm still very much in love with him, and Vincent was a very sort of dapper, he was described by his friends as a dapper gentleman, and he was very aware of fashion. And actually, I was thinking he was an apprentice to me in the hat shop. I think it was the way around. I was learning from him on a daily basis what's beautiful on a woman, and he would do all the fittings on me. You know, he would pin me in, he would advise me on skirt lengths, he would do adjustments, he would also make my patterns, and because he was an architect, it came very easily to him. A perfect collaboration in any sense, and a perfect love story which will never end, really. What does it mean to wear the clothes with his scrubs stitched in? I think it's a celebration and a tribute to him. It's finding a way of remembering this person and making him part of your everyday life now. I'm a tailoress, and I was trained all the very old-fashioned details, you know, if it's covering buttons or handmade buttonholes, how to make hangers to hang your clothing from. So I've introduced some of the details back into the Grief Collection, using his shirt fabrics for covering buttons, for placing little details. That again is to show our unification then and today. Really, it will always be with me, and I'm forever grateful. Picking up the needle has helped me again to express what I couldn't say, really, because when you grieve, you're more in tears than in words. So it was a process of making me concentrate and dedicate myself to fabric, to stitch, shape and form and body, and all the things which come with it, you know, the thought of what's going to happen to me, who am I, where, you know, everything breaks down under your feet. Nothing has meaning anymore. I think that's probably the most striking feature when you're grieving. Nothing has meaning anymore. Time doesn't matter anymore. It stands still for you. But by picking up the fabric and concentrating on a pattern, suddenly time, tick, 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 starts ticking again. And by piecing pattern pieces together, you have an outcome, you have something tangible. It gives you a sense of achievement, and that things can carry on from here and there's a future. And when the garment is finished, well, I personally felt I was sharing something with him. his illness was very short, so we've been obviously creating, sewing, pattern cutting, and so some of the clothing we had started, I'm now finishing off. And I'm also finding new combinations, listening to a little voice in the background, try this, shorten that, let go of the past, move on into the future. Sewing has always been a lifeline, really. Coming to Scotland from Germany, I couldn't speak the language, but I could sew. So it helped me connecting with people and finding a job and communicating. And communication is something which I'm better at using the needle than speaking. It has changed something for me, and it certainly is helping me in the process of still being with him. So walking around town with a dress, he has taken part in creating, if it was his pattern or his shirt detail, it means we are walking hand in hand. I guess when someone dies, that's not the only thing. So many other things which are parallel to it. You're going to lose so many other things because the person who goes has touched your life in many, many ways, not only as a husband or a lover. You shared interests, you might have shared a property, you might have shared a pet together. So you have to let go of so many, many, many things. And that is something I didn't know. And I guess with the sewing, I've managed to hold on to one thread. Vincent was the most beautiful man in the world for me. And he had a very beautiful face, a very beautiful body. We were 14 years of age difference, which he didn't like me saying, but it never felt like it because he had actually an attitude. He would keep going forever and ever. He was very agile. He was very well read, and towards the very end, it seemed like his mind was traveling back to some of the books he had read, and that helped him processing that he wasn't going to be there much longer. He never complained, he never said why, he never got angry. He said without saying, let's make the most of the time we have got left. And then he just went quietly.